Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. We are keeping it bold and better. There is a report that IEBC has shared with the media 1 hour ago that Embakasi East returning officer, who is identified as Daniel Musyoka, went missing. And the circumstances about the disappearance of that returning officer, the details are remain a bit scanty. According to what I've captured the Star, and of course our fellow Chebukati spoke to the media, Musyoka's family and the commission tried to reach to him, but he was not reachable. A report of missing person was made at Embakasi police station. Musyoka, the elected MCAs and members of parliament, now Babu Owino, received their certificates from the IEBC official who stood in for Mr. Daniel Musyoka. And maybe in the terms of election process, we may have to understand what exactly comes to play, or what is the role of the returning officer. Apart from being the custodian of the voters register at the constituency level, this is the person that also declares the MP elect and the MCA elect. Those are the two positions that now. Then the county returning officer will actually declare the governor, the senator, and the women rep, who is Mama County. So in the context of his roles, or that, I think there was no problem, because he had already, Babu Owino had already won, and also the host of MCS. He went early in the morning in the East African School of Aviation here in Embakasi, it's opposite further, and reported to work. But somehow he left the center in a hurry to go and pick a call, but never came back, and that's when last he was seen. I want us to listen to Chebukati statement on this. Then after that, we will try to ask questions that what exactly is playing out in that incident. Let's listen to Wafula Chebukati.
Commission wishes to make the following announcement. We wish to inform the country that our returning officer for Embakasi East constituency, Mr. Daniel Musyoka, has been reported missing while on duty at the East African School of Aviation Center. That is East African School of Aviation Tallying Center. Reports received by the commission indicate that at around 9 a.m. on 11th of August yesterday, he was escorted to the from his house to the office, that's the Tallying Center, by his bodyguard at around 9:45 a.m. He excused himself to make a telephone call but did not return to the office. Mr. Musyoka's family and the commission have been trying to reach him without success, and his duties are now being handled by the deputy returning officer. A report of a missing person has been made at Embakasi police station under occurrence book number 24/11/8/2022. The commission is deeply concerned about this unfortunate incident and calls upon the relevant security agencies to speedily investigate this matter. Thank you.
That is, according to the Chebukati, what happened. And when do you think the commission will come to share that information? Of course, they wanted to go to public so that someone, of course, so that it can be known public. It's because it's one of their staff And it is not a coincidence that that is happening at a time when we are in an electioneering period. We need to clarify, by the way, unlike the PO, returning officers are permanent employees of the commission. So what can only be done is that they can always be reshuffled from one constituency to the other, especially in terms, I think there is an internal mechanism that they use to do reshuffling during the electioneering as we head towards a general election. But this is a permanent employee. So this is someone that has interacted with these politicians, if he has been there for quite some time. But it's a bit puzzling on the scenario of his disappearance. I want us to just try to answer some few questions as related to that. But before we look at those questions, I want to still remind us about Sarah Atieno's medical fundraiser. I am so elated by actually the response. Oh, Team South Africa. Oh my goodness. You guys are doing amazing. And thank you very much for supporting. Sarah Atieno is in Kenyatta Hospital, locked. She's suffering acute leukemia, but she could not be, even after going through the chemo sessions, she could not still be relieved, or rather freed from the hospital because of a 1 million bill. The bill was actually 1.5, but there was that which was covered by NHIF, I think the hospital bed and something. But then what she owes the hospital is 1 million. So when Sarah reached out to us here, she is a member of this channel, I took it upon myself to run a fundraiser through this channel, a donation of at least 50 shillings. I've just realized that we've reached 30,000, and thank you very much for 30,000 subscribers. If each one of us can contribute just at least 50 shillings, by the end of the 21 days challenge, we are just 5 days to it, so on 17th we'll be completing this fundraiser. I believe we'll be in a position to pull a 1 million shillings check. We've reached 600,000 so far in the last 2 weeks that we've been doing it, and I believe that this is going to be a reality. We are going to achieve this. You can donate through my number 0710 62 78 89. I want us to answer some 4 questions in relation to this incident. The presidential results, because the custodian of the Form 34B, which is the coalition of Form 34 is the returning officer. IEBC has received all the 290 Form 34Bs. That's where the verification is going on. It means that Embakasi East results at IEBC Tallying Center are sorted. So if this disappearance of this is not related to the presidential result, because the presidential tally, there is no contestation over Embakasi East. The forms have been submitted there, both 34A and 34B. I think maybe if it's remaining just some 1 or 2 stations, and there have been no problem. What exactly is happening, or how can you relate it? That's why I said, and in my understanding, I feel that this is just the local city politics at play. Yes, this is just the local city politics at play. I don't think it's not something to do with the presidential vote. I don't want to underrule, but that is one theory that you can advance. Now, the second theory is this. If Musyoka was in the polling station, in the Tallying Center, Tallying Center is highly guarded, number 1. Number 2, that is a fenced place. It's not just an open place. So the security of that place is really tight. If someone walked out to go and receive a call and disappeared, could you advance a theory of an intruder getting through the security, passing through the security ranks and executing a kidnap? Even if you were to kidnap someone, I am not a specialist in this, but I'm just trying to advance this theory that with that heavy police presence in a tallying center, it is during the day, 9 a.m., not even at night, where someone can say that maybe there was darkness, and the place is highly secured, how would an intruder go through the security checks, pass through all the security checks? And in fact, getting to a Tallying center is also not just a casual thing. Everyone that gets in Tallying center must either be a agent or a journalist or someone accredited, maybe an election observer also, or the security agents. So where were the security agents? So one thing you can see here is maybe not a physical kidnap, not a forced kidnap where someone goes, takes someone, bangles in a car, vanishes. Because in an institution like that, if that was to be done, then maybe it was to vanish. How would it be? I also don't want to rule that out because you never know where he went and picked the call. But again, that's a theory that really points out to, really, did he get out and something happened? According to the Star story, the journalists tried to reach him and they were told that he has taken a break. So, okay, ultimately work has to be done and the deputy took charge. How did it just become so obvious? Did it just coming over and do? Did he or she also feel secure or insecure because of that incident? Because that should actually create a panic. That should create a panic. Now, what are the safety of the other arrows? What are the safety of other arrows? Because if this information is coming out, and maybe there are still arrows that are also in some highly volatile areas, and this is happening, I think it would, as much as want the public to know, to help in getting the person, and we continue. I sympathize with the family, but again, I think the commission needed to have handled it in a manner that even the other arrows still feel safe. You're going to ask me how best is that? I want to advance a theory. Just today, there was a returning officer who was arrested, I think in Starehe, and that was nabbed in a vote rigging scheme by Edwin Sifuna and the team. So that happened, and IEBC will later come out, and I think the political players later come out to say that their interference with the returning officers. However, this seems to be playing out in the local politics. What is the state of the women rep, senate, and gubernatorial races? Because as far as I know, yes, the form that returning officer, the votes, there is a vote that the governor vote and the women rep vote and senate vote is actually executed, is actually counted at the constituency level by the returning officer. So the person who collects that form is the returning officer. That could still show what exactly is going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we look through this, you also have to give it a holistic approach. And a simple question is, between this, because this might not be presidential as I mentioned, between women rep race, governor race, and senate race, who has the caliber, who has the infrastructure, or who has the audacity to kidnap a gentleman? you get to ask that question, because in case of anything, for you to execute such, you need really strong networks to execute that. We continue to pray and believe that of course it's going to be found. This is already creating some panic, but I believe that Daniel Musyoka will be found, and let's keep peace as we wait for the final results.